Let me ask you a question. When life throws you a challenge, do you search for a way forward, or do you search for an excuse to stop? Because here's the truth. Winners and losers face the same problems, but they write completely different stories. One builds bridges, the other builds walls. Which one are you becoming? Stay with me, and you'll find out why this one choice shapes your entire future. You know, life is a funny thing. It offers us all the same opportunities, a brand new day, a fresh chance, the same 24 hours. Yet how we use those opportunities, well, that's the great divider. I've learned this. Winners don't wait for perfect conditions, they go out and make conditions work. They don't say, I can't because of this or that. They say, how can I despite this or that? On the other hand, there's another crowd, the excuse makers. They always have a reason, always a story, always a why not, instead of a why. And if you want your life to change, you've got to start recognizing the difference between those who find a way and those who only find excuses. Let's talk about what makes that difference. Winners understand that every problem carries within it the seed of a solution. They don't waste time complaining about what went wrong or pointing fingers at who's to blame. Instead, they immediately shift their mindset towards asking the right questions. How can this be fixed? What can I do differently? Where is the opportunity hidden in this challenge? They operate with a bias toward action, knowing that progress comes from movement, not stagnation. They keep their eyes on possibilities, not roadblocks. On the other hand, those who lose focus tend to dwell on the size of the problem. They magnify it, exaggerate it, and allow it to drain their energy and potential. Winners break down big problems into small, manageable steps, while losers allow small problems to become overwhelming monsters in their minds. Winners understand that growth only happens when you're willing to tackle what others avoid. Winners have a habit of looking in the mirror, not out the window. They understand that their progress, their success, and even their failures are a direct reflection of the choices they make each day. They take full responsibility for their actions, decisions, and outcomes, no matter how difficult it may be. They do not waste energy blaming the economy, their boss, their upbringing, or their circumstances. Instead, they ask themselves, what could I have done better? How can I improve? They understand that personal responsibility is the foundation of all achievement. Losers, on the other hand, always seem to have a long list of reasons why they can't succeed. It's the weather, it's the timing, it's the lack of support. It's always something outside of their control. Winners know the truth. If you want things to change, you must first be willing to change yourself. Winners don't sit around waiting for someone to hand them an opportunity. They understand that opportunities are rarely given. They are created through consistent effort, awareness, and preparation. They develop the mindset to see possibilities where others see dead ends. They are proactive in building relationships, sharpening their skills, and putting themselves in environments where growth is possible. Winners know that success is not something that accidentally happens. It's something you chase, something you build brick by brick through persistence and vision. They refuse to be idle, knowing that waiting often leads to regret. Losers, on the other hand, spend too much time hoping, wishing, and waiting for things to magically align in their favor. They wait for someone to notice their potential instead of working daily to prove it. Winners understand that when opportunity doesn't knock, you pick up the hammer and build the door yourself. Winners see failure as part of the process, not the end of the journey. They understand that every failure holds a lesson that brings them closer to success. They analyze their mistakes, extract the wisdom, and adjust their strategies with clarity and purpose. Winners have developed the mindset that failure is not something to fear, but something to embrace as a stepping stone for growth. They don't allow a setback to define their worth or limit their future. Instead, they treat it as feedback, a necessary ingredient in the recipe of achievement. Losers fear failure so much that they often never try in the first place. They see failure as proof they aren't good enough and use it as an excuse to quit. Winners know that failing forward is far better than standing still. They understand that resilience is built in moments of disappointment and difficulty. Winners understand the value of discipline in shaping their future. They know that success isn't about doing what's easy or convenient, but doing what's necessary, even when motivation fades. They build habits that align with their goals and stick to routines that push them forward. Winners don't wait for perfect conditions or the right mood. They show up and do the work regardless of how they feel. They understand that consistency compounds over time, and small, disciplined actions lead to big results. Losers, on the other hand, often let excuses run their lives. They blame lack of time, lack of energy, or lack of resources for their lack of progress. They start strong, but fade quickly when challenges arise. Winners discipline their minds, control their attitudes, and hold themselves accountable to the standards they set. They know that excuses are the language of mediocrity and discipline is the language of success at the end of the day. Life will always give you two choices. You can join the crowd of excuse makers, or you can rise and walk the path of those who find a way. The difference between success and failure isn't luck, background, or talent, it's mindset. Winners think differently, act differently, and respond differently. They don't allow setbacks to steal their dreams, and they don't wait for someone else to solve their problems. They take charge, they take responsibility, and they take action, even when it's hard. Excuses might make you feel comfortable in the short term, but they will rob you of your potential in the long run. Winners know this truth, and that's why they keep moving forward, one decision, one effort, one solution at a time. The choice belongs to each of us. Either we build a life of excuses, or we build a life of results. Winners have simply decided that their future is too important to leave it in the hands of excuses. Winners don't hope for a way, they create one. That is the mindset that separates those who dream from those who achieve.